The blind currently, with the current case for compact disc material, and they consume large amounts of it because they listen to books and they listen to music.
Oh, yeah.
They file back and forth through the cases, rehandling and handling each individual case over and over again, because the only panel that's large enough for Braille is either the top or the bottom of the case. But with my EZC case, they can rack them, put a Braille label on them, rack them just like a sighted person,
Right.
and just read them one right after the other. One gentleman from the National Federation of the Blind, Roger, told me it would save him 2 hours a day
Oh, wow.
because of the handling and rehandling issue. I had some commercial photographs taken of the EZC case, and the photo lab that took the picture, when I went to pick up the pictures, the fella at the desk asked me if the cases were available because the guys in the lab wanted to buy them because it would save them so much time.
Yeah.
So if you're sighted, you can easily identify content from over 5 feet away.
Oh, wow.
And even the people that are physically impaired, when I presented it to the Veterans Association, people that have the use of one arm can still identify content and with the top of the case removed, extract the content, like I say, with only the use of one arm.
Yeah.
So we've got the blind, we've got the legally blind, we have the sighted, and we have the physically impaired. That's all going to benefit from the EZC case. Well, that's why the federal government's interested in it, because the application under the Americans with Disabilities Act, it's going to impact employment opportunities for the legally blind, the physically impaired, and the blind. Because with a Braille label on the EZC printed label, over the EZC printed label, the blind could work side by side with a sighted person, and so employment opportunities are going to be opened up as a result. We have an EZC case designed for the mini disc, which is an 80 millimeter disc, the smaller one, which is very interesting that you bring up because it's virtually impossible to identify content in that case without picking up each individual case and looking at the content that's on the disc itself.
Right.
And with my EZC case, I've adapted the design to the mini disc case as well. And also the slimline case, which is that very narrow case. There's no way to identify it from what they call the spine label, as they do with traditional jewel box cases.
Right.
But with my design, you now have the EZC case on the slimline,
Yeah.
so you don't have to handle those either. You can identify from 5 feet away. And as the entertainment people told me when I met with them, if this was out there, we'd have it by now.
Yeah.
Because it opens up so many larger avenues for identifying individual artists, which has always been a big issue with them. Well, the fact of the matter is, what the Pentagon, what an officer at the Pentagon told me is, he said, this is a small item that's going to have a huge impact. Backing up our systems in the military with compact discs, and in situations where there's an emergency, the ability to identify that content as rapidly as possible is a big issue for them.
Oh.
So that's where it comes in on the nuclear submarine fleet and also the space shuttle as well.
Well, Ollie, I appreciate taking the chance to sit down here and get a chance to talk with you and meet with you and talk about some of the things that are out there, technology. We got a new program that come out here with some CDs that people can use that can be in Braille, and they don't have to pull it out of a case. They can read it. Did you have a chance to take a look at it? See what you think?
Yes, I did. Yes, I noticed that the slots on the end were slanted so that it had large print as well as Braille. So,
Yeah. I was wondering if the people that you work with and know that are sight problems, how beneficial would that be to them?
well, probably the majority of the clients that we service, because they're seniors and because they're newly blind, they're not Braille users. However, it would probably be beneficial to those who are Braille users who label their CDs and have lots of CDs, and people in the professional world who would use CDs. But as far as our clients, understanding that these are newly blind persons who know nothing about Braille, and the majority of them probably won't learn Braille. So
Right.
people who have, because the vast majority of the people who lose vision have some sight. So they still have functional vision, they would be able to use the large print. And because it has the hangover, the wider side versus, a normal CD case is very narrow and the print is really, really small on the end. But because it has the hangover, it allows them to use the large print on it. And
Right.
that would be perfect for the larger vast majority of our people who are visually impaired, because they could use large print.
Right. Well, Ollie, that's very good. I really appreciate you taking the time and share that with our audience here. And good luck in the future for
Thank
what
you.
you're doing here at the case manager here for the blind.
Thank you very much.
Well, Gail, I want to talk to you a little bit about a new product that's come out that maybe is going to help people that have a sight problem and legally blind or blind, and what it can do to help them. We have it sitting here, and I wondered what you think about something that's going to help people.
Well, I'm always for something that's going to help people, and for our population who sometimes has a problem with accessibility, something like this could be very helpful to them, and something that is easy to learn. There's a lot of technology coming about today. Sometimes simple solutions are important too. If people don't have access to new technology, something that just makes utilizing their everyday skills easier is a great tool, and that's what this looks like.
I think that's probably one of the things about this thing. It doesn't cost $2 million. You can go to, when you get your CDs at the store, you can get them, you can have these things put on and buy them that way, which makes it very easy. And all the state purchasing we do and things we're gonna get out for the townships and cities and that be able to put them in the rack and find them right away, just save a lot of time.
Right, and being affordable, and also one of our mission is to help people be independent, and this is a tool that people who with low sight or even blind who can read Braille, they can do this themselves. They can have the accessibility and reach for a CD without necessarily having someone to do it for them.
Now, what would you say the population is here for people that need this in your area?
Well, in the people we serve at Greater Detroit Agency for the Blind and Visually Impaired are many seniors, and everybody's legally blind. We also have children who come to our summer camps, so they would have a use for accessing their CDs. A lot of them have low vision, so kids don't want to have to go to their parents for everything, so this might be a nice tool for them as well. And then for our older blind who live alone, this is an opportunity for them to enjoy music without getting someone to look it up for them.
Well, thank you very much, Gail. I appreciate you taking the time with us.
It was nice to talk to you, Roger.